So this is Svarasya's first live Q&A session, and for the ones who have been associated with us in the past, I would be very thankful to you that you have been supporting us for the philosophy that we've come up with for beauty inside out. And for the ones who have just joined us, who are not aware what are we doing in the beauty industry, what kind of a revolution are we trying to bring in. So I'll just update you about what exactly Svarasya is, what we are trying to do, and then I'll take up some of the queries that you had posted us. Okay, so Svarasya is India's first beauty education brand, and our entire purpose is to educate you on different aspects of beauty, not just from the physical perspective, but from the perspective of how your emotions, how your body work, how your self connect with yourself, how your energy, everything completely comes together to make you look and feel the way you are, or the way you want. So this is the theme that from the beauty perspective we've taken ahead, and we are educating you through different content mediums. We have been doing some workshops which are free workshops. You can watch them on YouTube, which are again on the concept of this beauty inside out. So under Svarasya we talk of beauty inside out from 5 different perspectives. We have these we call it 5 dimensions, which starts from your physical self and then gradually gets deeper into who you are, and then much deeper into your energy. So the first dimension that we talk about is Nourish. Of course, that's important. You are what you eat, and that completely shows on how you look and feel. So that's our very first dimension. The second dimension at Svarasya is about body work. When we say body work, we just don't mean exercise. We mean exercise, we mean self-care, we mean your skincare, and we also mean sleep, because you do not you are beings not just to exercise, you are beings also to rest. So rest and activity goes hand in hand. So these are the 4 sub dimensions under what we say body work, which is the second dimension. The third dimension that we define under Svarasya as beauty inside out is the dimension of emotions. Now this is a very new concept that a lot of us will not be directly able to relate to, but emotions have a huge impact on how you look and feel. And I believe you can just we all can see in a network, in a circle, somebody who's really depressed, who's not very happy kind of a person. It all shows on their personality, on their skin, how they how they carry themselves. So all of it comes together to form you as a complete you, make you look good as well as make you feel good. So that's a third beauty dimension. The fourth beauty dimension that we talk about under Svarasya is self-realization. Now self-realization, it's a very deep topic. It's something not very easy to understand, but some of you, if you are by any chance associated with yoga, I guess some part of self-realization aspect does automatically come into your personality by default. Like yoga is all about self-realization. So how does this aspect connect to beauty? Okay, so you want to transform you, and this is one of the questions that I guess somebody out of you asked. I will try answering that also, but just to give you an idea about self-realization, supposedly you want to get into this journey of beauty inside out. You really want to work on yourself, and then you want to bring about those changes which can gradually improve your skin, improve your hair health, improve your moods, improve your entire body weight, whatever you want, the way you want to you want to realize your best beauty potential. It does not start randomly, right? You have to somewhere have a plan for it. You have to understand what works well for you. You have to understand what kind of a person you are. You have to understand a lot about yourself and a lot about how nature is associated with you. How when you do things in a specific certain pattern, only where you start to see all these changes happening to you at the deepest level. So this is a very broad aspect of self-realization, which talks of your connect with yourself and your connect with the nature. And the fifth dimension, beauty dimension that we talk about is energy. This is something that to be felt about. Like again, just imagine the day you are feeling very energetic. Automatically, it so happens that your skin is glowing. It so happens that you have all the energy to do whatever you want to do. Just go ahead and just live the life you want. The best way. So this is where you are realizing your best beauty potential. You start with the physical, you start with who you are at the physical level, and gradually move on to different layers. Try to understand these different layers and start working on these different layers at the deepest level of who you are, and gradually that is where all that transformation starts to happen. It is not only foods, it is not only exercise, it's not only any one specific activity you do that will bring about those transformational changes within you. It is you as a whole, you as a complete, working on yourself while knowing yourself at a deeper level, and then making it a practice, making it a habit, trying to live that beauty lifestyle is what is what we are trying to focus on, which is again a work in itself. It's not something that will come to you naturally, but then you have to get deeper into all these layers. But having said that, of course, it starts with your physical self. It starts with the kind of foods that you're consuming. It starts with the kind of activities that you're doing on a regular basis. So these are these 5 dimensions where we go to the depths of beauty, and we give you these practical to-dos, tips where you can gradually start moving onto this path of beauty inside out gradually. So if you want to really get deeper into the concepts that I'm talking about, please look for our already done sessions on YouTube. These are recorded sessions which talk of these dimensions in detail. We have already done 3 beauty dimension workshops. We are about to do the self-realization workshop, which is expected soon, another week or so, and then we'll also be doing a workshop on energy. So that's where you'll start to relate to yourself how beauty is so deep. It's not just about looking for that one product miracle, or looking for that ointment that can just give you a miraculous skin, or the body you want overnight. It's about working on yourself, and we are just trying to give you all those tools. How do you work on yourself, not just from the foods or physical or superficial perspective, but getting deeper into yourself, from where these changes start to happen deeply. So as you be associated with us, a lot of content we start to share around, you will actually start to relate to what I'm saying. These can be a little new concepts for you right now, but this is how things happen. This is how any any celebrity that you idolize, for example, or anybody who really you think that you would want to be, of course you want to be your own unique beauty, but then you really want to glow like somebody else. So it's not just about somebody having just foods, or somebody having just getting into the gym doing those exercises. It's all about everything coming together. So this is broadly about what we are doing under Svarasya and what we are all about. Okay, so some of you had really had asked us certain questions. I would just want to take up these questions. We will try to take up these questions one by one. This is going to be a 1 hour live Insta session, so I'll try to accommodate as many questions as you had asked. In case I'm not able to address your questions by any chance, I would request keep posting your queries, because now we plan to do these live Q&A sessions on a regular basis. This is we probably will be planning these once a week, every week, so that we can answer your questions as much as you can. You can ask questions on anything, any of these 5 dimensions, which is again a very deep-rooted depth of beauty that we're talking about. So you can ask anything about foods, you can ask anything about your daily practices, your rituals, your emotions, your exercise, your any kind of body work that you are associated with, or into, or specific kind of as a person, what kind of person you are, and does what kind of self-realization will kind of align with you to get you onto that path of deeper level transformation for yourself. So this is precisely what Svarasya is all about, and I'll start taking the questions now. So somebody asked us, what do you suggest for self-care? Okay, so see, now there are different definitions about self-care. You cannot just define self-care as a one-time activity. It is not only about going for a spa treatment, or going for a salon treatment, or getting your hair done, or getting a massage done, or once in a week, or once in a month, or once in 15 days, just going out and getting something done for yourself to make you feel good. Self-care is something that you are associated with yourself on a regular basis. At a subtle level, you know yourself, you know what makes you feel good. Okay, so if I have to just explain it in one line, it's about what is it that makes you feel good. Now we know we go through a lot of emotions through the day. Morning we might feel something different, afternoon we might feel something different, by evening our moods are different, by evening time we are feeling a certain way. So basis how you understand all these emotions, what is happening to you throughout the day, what do you do to yourself, or how do you align yourself in a way, you align your activities in a way so that you feel good all through the day, is how we define self-care as at Svarasya precisely. So, and when I say self-care, looked at it from all these 5 different perspectives, it also means it's not just about consuming foods or getting onto these specific kind of healthy foods or juices or smoothies or whatever. It's about all these 5 dimensions. So let me just try picking the examples from all these 5 dimensions and try explaining what does self-care actually mean. Okay, so from dimension 1 perspective, if we pick up Nourish is all about foods. What do you do to yourself from the perspective of taking care of yourself from the food perspective? Now we know, I would again reiterate, you are what you eat, digest and assimilate. So we know whatever you consume, whatever foods are you consuming on a regular basis, somewhere does have an impact on your skin. It's your skin is not showing those signs out of the blue. There is something happening at the deeper level, which is kind of coming onto the surface in the form of acne or wrinkles or pigmentation or whatever skin concerns or skin conditions you're facing. So from the Nourish perspective, self-care is all about being aware what you are eating, being aware whether or not your gut is happy, being aware if you are able to process these foods right, being aware that the kind of foods that you're consuming are not exerting a lot of pressure on these internal organs. Because ultimately, if you go through our 5 beauty dimensions that we're talking about, and if you get a chance to go and listen to these 5 dimensions that I'm talking about, you'll come to know what I'm saying. And I would highly recommend please go through these, because then what we are discussing right now, you will actually get to the depths of what we are saying. But just coming on to the concept of Nourish, when you consume foods, it is not just about getting onto any kind of food plan randomly. Okay, everybody's body is different, the way you react to foods is different, the kind of changes that are happening inside the body is different for everybody. And that's how Ayurveda looks at you. Ayurveda looks at you from a from the perspective of you being a unique individual. It's something that works for me may not work for you, and they might rather give you adverse reactions as compared to what it gave me, which could have been a clean skin or a clear body or health or whatever. So the very first thing is, from the Nourish perspective, you have to understand your foods later. You have to understand yourself first. What kind of a person you are? Are you a very stressful kind of a person, or are you a very happy-go-lucky kind of a person? Is your digestion good, or is your digestion just you end up feeling bloated or tired after your meals, or you have these acidic feelings or burpy feelings or flatulence feelings or whatever, like any kind of conditions related to your gut health which are not working for you. So do you have any such kind of conditions? Thirdly, are you constipated? Very, very, very important. Like a lot of people that come to us talking of trying to understand foods from the beauty inside out perspective, and come and ask us, okay, what is those best foods that I can consume or add to my diet which can make a lot of difference. Foods is just one part of it. Of course, foods are important because these are giving us those elements or those compounds using which our body gets those elements from where our skin and hair and weight is kind of decided or made from inside. But what happens is, if you are constipated, even if you're consuming the best foods or not, you're consuming best salads or best smoothies or whatever, you're doing best to the capacity of what you know. When it goes inside the body, the entire chemistry changes. When it goes inside you, ideally what is supposed to be done, your foods should be going in, they should be processed really cleanly. Whatever the body needs out of it, the body should be able to extract out of it. As soon as it comes out of it, the body should be able to throw out all that sludge and waste out of your body. When you're consuming foods, considering that you're consuming the bestest of foods and not considering whether or not you are constipated, what is happening inside, as soon as, even if you're consuming the best foods, might ultimately end up converting into a lot of toxins. Why? Because if your colon is not clean, your blood is circulating throughout the body, it is also passing through the colon, and whatever toxicity you are holding in the colon or anywhere in the body, if it is not clean, it's again circulating through the body and passing on that the nutrition, of course, which came through your foods, is now circulating with the toxins which are accumulated inside the body. So which means the net effect of whatever you've been doing to yourself from the good food perspective, or bringing in those changes in your body from the food perspective, may not work for you. Why? Because you're already holding a lot of toxins. So what does that mean? If I have to conclude that, from Nourish perspective, when you think of self-care, it is not just about keep adding foods and foods and foods, getting crazy about foods. And this is the trend that we commonly see today. This is what is happening in the world today. What is that best food? Some study comes and we just go crazy about any specific kind of a food, and then we want to include it without considering at the holistic level what is happening with me, whether my digestion is good, whether my liver's detoxification capacity is good, whether my circulation is good, whether my colon is clear. If all these organs are not clear, believe me, whatever best things you're doing for yourself are not very good, because internally they are becoming toxic. They are no better than having those processed foods, because processed foods also create toxicity within, and in this case you're already holding a lot of toxicity inside. You're just adding on to it a little better way by including those good foods, but ultimately these will become toxins if the internal functionality is not right. So from the food perspective or Nourish perspective, when you think of self-care, it is very important to understand what is happening inside the body and clear out all these all these imbalances happening inside the body. Go towards or gravitate towards these good foods later. The very first step for you is going to be clean yourself, get your digestive system right, get your liver functioning right, get your circulation right, get your lymphatic system right, get your colon right. These are what we call beauty systems. Now this again would be a very new concept for you all, but just go try to listen to our Bodywork workshop, which is there on our YouTube channel, which is so you can just look for us by the name Svarasya. You will find our channel there. Try going through this Bodywork. That will open up a lot of concepts for you that I'm talking about. So till now in biology we've understood these systems as our functional systems. Of course these are functional systems, they keep us alive, but these are the same systems which are also highly responsible for giving the kind of appearance that we want, keeping us ageless for a very, very long time. Those wrinkles on your face, those signs of pigmentation, those indentations on your face, those markings coming up on your face, that weight fluctuating, is nothing but these organs getting sluggish. Somewhere they're not able to do their processes right, and that ultimately slows down the entire system, kind of starts accumulating a lot of toxicity inside. Ultimately that starts showing up everywhere in your body, on your face, on your body, in your moods, every single part of the body that you can think of. So from Nourish perspective, of course it's a very good idea. Gravitate towards having more natural foods, more living kind of foods, more plant-based foods, more foods which are directly coming from the nature, which are not packaged, which precisely the ones that you see on shelves, packaged ones, are the ones which will kill your beauty in the long run. So that's self-care from the Nourish perspective, which is a beauty dimension 1. From dimension 2 perspective, which is Bodywork. Now this is coinciding with the Nourish dimension that I just talked about. I just talked of the concept of beauty systems. Right now this is the concept that we cover under the concept of Bodywork. What is Bodywork? Bodywork is anything that you do to yourself to make sure that your body is in its best working condition. In modern language, we understand this concept as exercise. Of course, exercise is important and a very important aspect of this entire Bodywork thing that we're talking about. But exercise is not the only thing, is what I'm trying to say. Exercise, important part, yes, but what else matters? Your self-care matters. Self-care from the body perspective matters. Now, what does self-care from the body perspective means? How do you take a bath? So this may sound very crude and very, very normal daily life kind of a thing. Somebody hardly will think of it, but you try understanding these ancient sciences, you get deeper into Ayurveda, they will teach you what is the best way to have a bath. There is a specific way you should be bathing. What it does is it kind of cleanses your skin, one. Secondly, it cleanses your it improves upon your circulation. So when you kind of have a bath where you are including practices which are boosting circulation, is where you are also boosting your blood circulation. This blood circulation is directly responsible for the condition of your skin. If you don't understand this concept, again I would highly recommend, please check out our YouTube video. We have covered these concepts in quite a lot of detail, how circulation ultimately culminates into your appearance, into the quality of your skin, quality of your hair, and you as a whole. So the self-care practices from Bodywork perspective, how do you start your day? What do you do to yourself in the morning? Do you do any practices, something like the jal methi or a oil pulling practice? Now these are not just about cleansing practices. These, of course, in modern sense we do understand these from this perspective of cleansing, but they have much deep rooted connections. For example, when you do oil pulling, it's an ancient Ayurveda practice, which you kind of take a spoonful of coconut oil or a sesame oil and squish it around your mouth. What this practice is going to do is, one, of course, because of the pulling action, it pushes out the toxins which are lying, which kind of rise up when you sleep at night. So these rise up, and when it's an activity, when you do that activity, because of the swishing activity, the pressure is exerted, and because of that pressure, whatever toxins are held in the upper part of your respiratory system get cleansed, like they come out, which only brushing will not give you. That's something that's a very modern concept of doing things. Then what oil swishing is also doing to you is our mouth cavity has these connections all through the body, like there's something called the concept of meridians, which is something like these unseen energy channels which are connected all through our body. So our body is connected through different meridian channels, like there's a specific kidney channel, there's a specific lung channel, there's a specific digestive channel, and these channels kind of pass through the body and have junctions throughout the body in different parts of the body. So when you are stimulating your mouth with the swishing activity, you're not just cleaning your mouth, you're also activating different organs inside the body. And we have just learned how organs are the key to keeping you ageless. So when I say ageless, I would highly recommend just think of this concept from a very, very broad perspective. Of course, we being a brand talking about beauty inside out, my terminology majorly is going to be around connecting everything, how everything, when you as together come come together as a whole, ultimately that is what shows outwardly as you completely. It is not just about applying that face mask or only one thing that you're doing for yourself. But when you get onto this path of beauty inside out, of course you start to glow, of course you become radiant. That there is no second question about it, and this is the only ageless way to go about it. There is no third way. It's not about Botox, it's not about applying those creams and all those these chemical based solutions that we generally end up doing. That's one of the side effect benefits, that your entire appearance changes. What else happens? Your energy levels just soar very, very high. Your spiritual connections actually start to start to rise. I mean, this might again sound very cryptic to you as of now, but I can just tell you, I have myself gone through this transformation. I can tell you how the way you kind of work on yourself to transform yourself, and ultimately when you walk that path for a certain time, say for you spend 1 year with yourself just walking that path, you automatically realize all those propensities of the mind, all those negativities happening to you at the mind level, all those anxieties or fears which are ultimately also creating some havoc on your entire appearance, automatically start to come down. You start to become a more calmer, happier, more joyous kind of a person. And it happens. Why it happens? Because the entire body is connected. Your mind is connected to your body. What we are doing through this philosophy of Svarasya, beauty inside out, 5-dimension philosophy, we are picking up one area, we are picking up one aspect of you. You start working on this one concept, and all the other related concepts within you start to transform, because the body is connected. If you even bring about change at one level, automatically you will see a lot of other areas automatically will start to kind of transform. But it's not a quick fix. It's something like it's a long-term process. You really have to think of working on yourself. So this is about beauty dimension 2, which is about exercise. We've talked about it. It's about self-care, which is about not just about exercise, but doing something externally for yourself that brings about that changes something within you, something like a body massage. Having now, this used to be a very ancient practice. I remember my father used to kind of always tell us, okay, while bathing, definitely do this oil massage. We do, and for us it used to be very clumsy kind of an activity, like it's a very sticky kind of an activity. But I can tell you, over years, as I got into this, and then I started studying all these concepts, I got into Ayurveda and various other different healing modalities, yogic modalities. I realized this is the only way to become ageless. There is no third way. What is being told to us today by the modern industry, by these chemical industry, by the kind of treatments that we are doing to ourselves, are only harming us. Of course, temporarily they might give you some results. They might temporarily give you that high, but in the long run, think of 5 years later or 10 years later, ultimately all those Botox, all those fillings that you get done within yourself are very, very, very toxic. Rather, I was just going through one of the books about this concept only a few days back, which talked of how somebody got this Botox done, which is a silicone filling, right? And the silicone filling in their breast bursted. So it because it's your body has a lot of heat, and heat has this tendency of breaking down everything. So when you are kind of inserting anything inside your body which is very artificial, and because of that, too much of heat inside the body survives on heat. It's producing heat altogether, in the body all the time. So over years, even if it is not kind of bursting, but ultimately because of heat, a lot of chemicals get leached out. So you think you're eating the bestest of foods, getting all those chemical treatments done, ultimately whatever you're doing to yourself on the inside might also be giving you toxins which you may not just be aware of. So self-care is about being very, very aware of what you're doing, not just to keep your body in shape, but also being very aware what are you doing to yourself from taking care of yourself perspective. Are you using the right kind of skincare products? Are you doing these practices which actually lead you towards agelessness, which are beyond superficial, which are something like which enhance your circulation, which enhance your lymphatic flow, which enhance your digestive capacity, which enhance your respiratory capacity. These are the ones which are like beauty systems. That's the key. Again, just go through the videos, you will really come to know what how these systems are related to our beauty. You'll be able to relate to it. So that's the third aspect of bodywork. The fourth aspect the third aspect is skincare, and the fourth one is sleep. Skincare, why it is important. Now we are just trying to understand how beauty is inside out. Of course, it starts from the inside, there is no second question about it, but how it manifests on the outside. Like, our skin is the barrier between our outside world and the inner world. So whatever from the outside we are exposed to, and whatever from the inside we are doing to ourselves, which is kind of starting to push outwards from the inside, because maybe our body is toxic, maybe our beauty systems are not functioning fine. Ultimately, your skin is the taker. Everything shows on the skin, whether it is coming from the outside or from the inside, which means outside care is equally important. We really have to have a focus on inside, and outside we cannot neglect, simply because we are exposed to a lot of toxins, and our skin is the first barrier level where everything kind of comes together. So which means now when we come to skincare, again, it does not mean getting crazy about these skincare products which are flooding the market like anything. Very important for you to be very, very empowered about what kind of products are you using. One way you can empower yourself is definitely go ahead and look at these product labels, the kind of the ingredients that go into these skincare products, and that can be an activity for you. I'm just throwing an idea back to you, because that's where my journey also started. So just go back and look at these chemical names. Just Google those chemical names. Just try to Google and find out what are the side effects of these chemicals. Now I can tell you, a lot of chemicals that we are experiencing today or using in our skincare products, not even not without even a slightest of hint what is doing to us inside the body. A standard American girl, a 16-year-old American girl. Now the statistics are from, these are like US-based statistics. Why? Because my education has been from that perspective. But we are not far back. India is rather, I think, more ahead than US now in terms of just experimenting anything and everything chemical that comes our way. So a standard American girl, 16-year-old, is exposed to at least 167 different hormone mimicking chemicals just through the regular skincare products, maybe through a toothpaste, maybe through a soap, maybe through a shampoo, maybe through a face wash. Or I'm not going to cosmetics right now. This is just through the common daily use products that you're using, maybe the kind of household cleaning products that you're using, whatever, whatever chemicals you're getting exposed to. 168 different chemicals. Now what are these chemicals doing to your body? There's something called xenoestrogens, which is the capability of the chemicals to mimic the hormones inside the body. Okay, so the female system works on, of course, everybody's body works on hormones, but when we talk of beauty, like it's equally related to your health also, but I'll try to relate what happens when your hormones go up and down, how your entire skin changes, how your entire beauty changes. So when there is up and down of hormones inside the body, specifically estrogen, which is the female hormone, so this hormone is directly related to your skin quality, to the thickness of your skin, to the plumpiness of your skin, to the clarity of your skin, to the smoothness of your skin, to that smooth oily quality to your skin and your hair. So if your hair by any chance has started to get very brittle, if your skin is showing those signs of dullness, probably you may be using the best creams, you may be looking for these best skincare solutions, but of course on the outside to some extent it's going to work for you, but then it doesn't become a permanent solution for you. Why? because it's all being created from inside. It's happening from the inside. You are maybe probably going through this estrogen imbalance. Where is this estrogen imbalance coming from? From the kind of foods that we are consuming, but the kind of lifestyle that we are living. Maybe we are living, I sleep by say 12 at night, wake up at 9 in the morning. Your entire hormone cycle changes. Then the kind of products that you're using, a lot of skincare products have a lot of chemicals that I'm talking about, and that's why I'm saying just go and Google today itself, look at the kind of skincare products that you're using. Just Google those. Not just skincare products, any kind of household chemical products that are entering your home. Look out for what are they causing any chemical imbalance, specifically estrogen. If yes, you may be doing the best to yourself from the food perspective, but you just don't know, you are hoarding so much of xenoestrogens inside the body, which are mimicking, and it's becoming a vicious cycle. You're doing something on the outside to bring back your skin or your hair or body to balance, and on the outside you just don't know, you're consuming a lot of foods or consuming a lot of products which are ultimately creating those imbalances inside the body. Ultimately you don't know, but that vicious circle is going on and on and on, and that's the reason you don't ever find a solution for your skin and hair. It's just about looking for that small one product miracle, or looking for a cream or a solution or whatever, anything that works for you, but your body and skin does not work like that. So that's the third dimension. And the fourth dimension that I'm talking about is sleep. It's very, very, very important. If you are a kind of a person, you have 100 reasons to tell yourself that I cannot go off to sleep because my sleep cycle starts say at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock or whatever time, or I eat late at night, or I come back home by this time, or this is the only time that I have for myself. My kids are off to sleep and this is the time when I can spend for myself. Do one thing, start sleeping early in the morning, start waking up at 3 in the morning, and do all those activities that you're doing at night at night, say till 12 or 1 in early morning. I can tell you your beauty will not be impacted, your health will not be impacted. Why? Because that's the way you are aligning yourself with the activities of the nature. And this is the fourth dimension that I will just talk about in a few minutes. So sleep, why is it important? It's again a play of hormones. Melatonin, which is one of the hormones that gives you the feeling of sleep at night, like by say 9ish or 10ish, you automatically start to get those sleep pangs. And this generally happens with a lot of people who have a balanced sleep cycle. Like if you ask me, by 9ish I'm like gone, I have to sleep by 9 or 9:30, between 9 to 10, and that's a cycle for me set since I know myself, since childhood. So that's how my upbringing has been. So those up and down did not ever happen in my case, and I believe it's a lot to do with how I could manage my weight at my age right now, how I could manage my skin at this point in time right now. Of course, I got into a lot of other things also. I got into Ayurveda practices and yogic practices, and improved upon my foods, and did a lot of research into it and applying a lot of things. I will start slowly, gradually, kind of sharing a lot with you all in our future Q&A sessions also, and through our YouTube videos and live workshops. But just try to understand what we are trying to talk about here is we are talking about this concept of literal beauty, true beauty. It is not just about fixing something, it is about creating things from the inside. And all these factors that we are talking right now have a huge role to play. Everything comes together when you kind of try to understand all these concepts from a really deep-rooted perspective. So that's beauty dimension number 2. The third one is emotions. Now, this can be a little tricky for me to explain right now. I would highly recommend, please go and check out our workshop on Beauty Inside Out, which is the third workshop, which was about emotions. It's uploaded on our YouTube channel. Now this very deeply talks about how your emotions directly impact how you look and feel, and it's a very, very interesting topic. Like even if you don't kind of resonate with what I'm talking right now, I would still recommend, definitely do go through this video that I'm talking about, which is about emotions, on Svarasya YouTube page. Now what will you learn out of this is, you will realize small little mood swings. You have a control on yourself. Say by there is a moment you're just about to burst in anger, and you have a choice not to burst in anger, but to sit calm, maybe give yourself some time and breathe deep and cool down yourself. How dramatically it is changing the entire chemistry inside the body. And this is the same chemistry, if it goes right, this chemistry will give you the kind of skin that you want, and will keep you ageless for a very, very long time. And it is the same chemistry that can completely spoil your entire personality if it goes out of control. Which means if you are an anger prone person, or if you are a fearful person, or if you're not a very joyous happy person, or if you are a very closed person, you don't express yourself really nicely, if you are a very sadistic kind of a person, all these negative emotions ultimately inside the body, you don't even know, ultimately are creating a lot of chemicals inside the body. These are basically stress hormones, and we've kind of, in the workshop that I'm talking about, I've tried explaining these hormones in detail. That's where you'll come to know the direct connect between how emotions directly impact how you look and feel. So if you do not have a control on these emotions, ultimately, and I think we all can relate to it, somebody whom who's not a very happy person, who's always sulking, who's kind of who goes through any of these 5 or 6 strong emotions that we're talking about, which are not very positive for you, you can make out they don't look very attractive. Their skin always looks dull. They have a very not very attractive kind of a persona. So it all shows in your personality. It might not immediately click you as that beauty on the skin or hair, but ultimately you realize the shoulders are kind of closed, and the body language is not very positive, and somewhere the posture is not held right. So how do you define beauty from the physical perspective? Now this is purely from the physical perspective. Somebody, of course, who has a very glowing or attractive kind of a skin, who has really good nice hair, somebody who has a very of course toned body, but also good nice posture, long tall spine, somebody who's not very whose shoulders are like broad and tall. So these are the people we automatically get gravitated towards, attracted towards. But that's just the physical part of it. Once you get associated with somebody like this, and when you start to get to know deeper aspects about that person, and over time you realize, okay, from the physical perspective, this person really looked very charming and attractive, but when you get deeper into understanding that person, gradually you realize, no, this person is not a very happy person. No, this person thinks a lot of negative stuff. No, this person is always criticizing. Now immediately your perception, that physical beauty fades away. I mean, that's a very practical scenario that I'm talking about. What I'm trying to say is, when we're talking of beauty, it is not just about you as an outer self. It is about your inner self, how loving, compassionate, joyous, happy, free-flowing person you are. Once the outer and the inner joins, you become a magnetic beauty. You become an ageless beauty, and this is the kind of beauty that we're talking about. This is the kind of awareness that we're trying to build in with whatever we are bringing on board with Svarasya. So that's dimension number 4, which is about how emotions impact. Rather, dimension number 3, which talks of how deeply emotions can create you from the inside, and it ultimately converts into biology. When you listen to the video that I'm talking about, you'll come to know what I'm saying. The 4th dimension about that makes a difference to your appearance is self-realization. Now this is again a very deep-rooted concept. People associated with the yogic community can very well to some extent relate to what I'm saying, but self-realization is about let me give an example. So you think, okay, I want to change. Now one of the other questions also gets answered into what I'm trying to say now. So just be open-minded to what I'm saying. So the question was, what is the first step for beauty inside out? Somebody had asked us this question on our community. So of course the steps that we're talking about, Nourish, Bodywork, emotions, self-realization, these all go hand in hand. These all are like different aspects of you coming together. Self-realization brings all these things together. Now how it happens is, somebody says, and these are all practical experiences, like I have been practicing for last 10 years as a macrobiotic nutritionist also, and that's where all these concepts we've built up to create a brand that talks of beauty inside out. And a lot of people specifically who used to come to us for their skin transformation, for their beauty transformation, a lot of people that I experienced in my practice were either they used to be very fearful. These are like common traits that I saw in a lot of people. A lot of people were also quite anxiety prone, and they were always looking for that one best product miracle, or one that best food that can just completely transform their skin condition, make them free from eczema or acne or wrinkles, or at least start arresting the aging that they're going through. Now over time, when I started, I yogic sciences, when I started Ayurveda, and then when I also started deeply the science of foods and everything, and when all these concepts came together for me also as my understanding, it was very evident and clear to me that it is not just one part of you. You cannot just change only one part and say that everything changes for me. It doesn't happen like that. And that is the reason a lot of people who are looking for these solutions, not that people are not aware today, a lot of women are aware, a lot of men are aware. They know what is best for themselves. They are trying to live their best lifestyle, being on to those right foods, right exercising patterns, and doing everything right from their perspective. They think what is right. Still, a lot of people may not be able to achieve the kind of results that they are wanting. Why is it so? Maybe probably because all these areas for them are not coming together. Maybe they are eating well, maybe they are doing exercising, but at the mind level, maybe they are too anxiety prone. Maybe they just don't know what they want from life. Maybe they are too distracted. They are directionless. They just don't know, what am I here for? What am I doing? 10 years down the line, or 15 years down the line, or as I age, what is it that I want to be? What is it that I want to achieve? A lot of people are completely clueless about all these concepts. So when you are, when you exist without knowing your purpose, is where these deep-rooted concepts of self-realization and energy come into the picture. Self-realization, again, easier said than done. Of course, it doesn't happen in a day. How it goes is there is a specific path of self-realization. This also answers the question that I just mentioned. How do you start, get started on this journey of beauty inside out? So I would say for me the journey started with foods, and that was not something intentional that I was doing. It just started. Why? Because I was studying all these things and I was practicing all these things, and over time I realized a lot of things changed within me, and I could arrest a lot of changes that were happening within me automatically. It was not an intentional effort, but it just happened to me because of my practices that I was doing. So for me it started with foods. But for a lot of people who cannot immediately get into foods, or who have specific tastes, who need some time to gradually get onto their journey, does not matter. You start with body work. Why? Because we know the body is entirely connected. We have these layers that we're talking about. You start with any of the layer that you think. You set up a purpose for yourself for life, which is the self-realization aspect that we're talking about. You set a purpose for yourself, automatically you will see maybe another month or so you will be so disciplined, because now you know what are you there for, what do you want to achieve in life, or where do you see yourself coming years, and most importantly, what is it that you enjoy doing, what are you what is it that makes you really happy. So when you know what is your path, what makes you really happy, which is the path of self-realization, all the other 4 areas automatically will come in place. You would want to eat good because now you want to maintain yourself. You would want to exercise because you want to keep your energy levels good. You would want to, your moods will automatically be happy. Your emotions will automatically be in control. So does not matter which area you pick up for your transformation. The important thing is making up your mind and getting started. Even if it is a very small step, even if it means changing with one single meal in a day, changing with one add maybe 15-20 minutes of exercise in a day, whatever you think works well for you, that can get you onto this path and gradually take you onto this path, is where you really need to get within yourself and try to understand what is it that will work for myself. So self-realization precisely is you as a whole coming together, your body coming together, your body imitating or you kind of exuding that kind of an energy that is a representative of what is going on in your mind, and you're just living what you're meant for, and that automatically happens when all of these areas come together as a whole. And it will not come together only when you say that, okay, I cannot exercise but I will change my foods and I think I want to get onto this journey of beauty inside out. Will not work. Why? Because foods is just one part of it. Of course it is working on your body, but then when you're not exercising, you're not stimulating those beauty systems. These beauty systems do not have enough power unless you infuse power in them, unless you do something to energize them. Where the energization will come from, it will come from the exercises or self-care, and then the emotions part, when you are disintegrated with yourself, when you're not taking care of yourself, when you're least concerned what is happening to your skin, what is happening to your hair, what is happening to your body, your emotions will automatically go up and down, because we know how appearance does matter, your looks do matter, and we may or may not want to believe it, but that is the fact. The more appearance wise you're more confident about yourself, the better you can be a better person. Your emotions are good, skin, hair, body automatically is good. Why? Because emotions have a huge role to play when it comes to skin, when it comes to your body fluctuations, when it comes to your hair, everything altogether. So that's the aspect of self-realization, which is the fourth dimension. And from the fifth dimension, how self-care comes into the practice, which is energy. This is one of the most unseen and most important aspect that I consider very important from the perspective of beauty inside out. This is something over time I realized, it's not something that will come to you immediately, but now, living this kind of a lifestyle for last 10 years, I can tell you, things just click to me. Like, if I just had a food, even if it is a healthy food, and it did not make me feel good for whatever reason, maybe something, it gave me a burning sensation, or it's kind of not digesting well, you get those feelings, those butterfly feelings, or what is happening inside the body, you start to connect with yourself again. That's an aspect of self-realization. But when all of these things come together, when you become one, and when you do something to yourself that immediately hits you, and you know that it's hitting me, is where I'm not supposed to do this, and you also know what am I supposed to do. Like, for example, I'll give an example. I am an early sleeper and an early riser. Any day, if I by any chance I'm sleeping late, and so early morning, I will still try to wake up early. That's my nature's call. Automatically I will wake up early. I am not able to sleep for after a specific period of time, and that's not because of I have some concerns, but because my pattern, I've kind of aligned myself with the nature. So some days, if that happened to me, and then someday I'm not able to, by any chance I'm not able to wake up early in the morning, the whole day I do whatever. I eat the bestest of foods. I even try doing yoga practice, or meditation practice. The kind of energy, the kind of feel good factor that I have for myself when I wake up early in the morning, I do not have through the day if I'm not waking up early. So small little point, we specifically don't give focus on all these small little points, but when you kind of, it all adds up, I would say. It all adds up. If when you start focusing on yourself, small little things, what is it that is making you feel good, what is it that is energizing you, what is it that's that immediately clicks you, what is that activity. If you are, and sometimes you may not also want to do it. For example, you are just lying lazy like a couch potato, and it is not good for you, it is not making you feel good, but out of laziness you're just lying down. And then in the mind, that you also know that if you just wear your shoes and you go out for a walk or running, you will start to feel good. This is the aspect of self-realization. You know what to do, you know what will click with you, you know what is it that will energize you, but you still don't want to do it. Why? Because your mind rules. We are majorly living in our mind and not in our body. So your mind says, no, keep lying, because I don't feel like going out, because I feel energyless. You are feeling energyless not because for the reason that you're lying. You're feeling energyless because you're not making an effort to make yourself feel energized. So you really, happiness, energy does not come automatically. It's not something that we have been blessed with automatically. Of course, some part of it we are blessed with, but if you really want to transcend beyond ordinary to become that kind of an ageless person, it is not just about foods, it's not just about exercise, it's about you all together coming as a whole. You knowing yourself, you making those small little steps, small little changes to your entire personality, starting very very small and bringing about those changes. Even small step, 21 days followed, start making it a habit, move on to the next one. Gradually you will see, you give yourself at least 6 months to 1 year, and you will see you will be a completely transformed person. To begin with, from the mind perspective, your moods might start to change, your body a little bit might start to change, but automatically, gradually you will realize you will no longer be the same person who you were about 6 months back or 1 year back. So coming back to the concept of beauty inside out, now if I combine all these 5 dimensions together, nourish, bodywork, emotions, self-realization, energy, how we came up with these concepts. These are the concepts which came up as a part of personal realization, which came up as a part of when I was working with different clients, and when I could see that we are working on one area, the results that we are wanting, of course we are getting, but then the results are not holistic. In some area they still are not to the best of what they can be, what is their potential, but they are not able to reach that potential. Maybe you have this potential and you're just lying maybe a little below. So what is it that will give you a push to reach your full potential? Maybe it's something like following a passion, or following an activity that makes you feel good, or getting into understanding what is it that that will ground you, that will make you connect with yourself. So when all these things come together, ultimately you will see you transcend beyond ordinary way of looking at your beauty, ordinary way of looking at yourself, being an ordinary person, and rising beyond being being a beauty inside out is how I can say. Outside means automatically, as I said, radiant skin, good hair, body weight, that is a side effect that will automatically happen, and there is no sustainable way to achieve it apart from this. Rest all is a fad. But you will also realize your inner beauty starts to shine through. Automatically there's going to be a heart change automatically happening to you. You start to become more happy and joyous kind of a person. You open up, you want to meet people, you want to kind of transcend all that happiness out of you and just pass it on and spread it out to the world. So that's where everything just comes together and joins back. We will we will start doing a lot of detailed Q&A sessions about all of these dimensions one by one. So this was just an introductory session, apart from some questions, answering some questions that you had asked us. But we'll gradually get into a lot of stuff, starting from the how do you start to self-care, to getting on to the subtle part of you, starting with the foods, to the practices, to the rituals, to your daily discipline, to adopting certain practices that can really help you bring about those changes that we're talking about. Working on your energy levels, working on your exercising modes, a lot of things. It's like endless things that I can just tell you. It's more about knowing yourself. But I guess that's the step number one. For the ones who can really relate to themselves, for the one who are still trying to understand what is this concept all about, please go through our sessions, recorded sessions on YouTube on Svarasya channel. Please go through them, please listen to them, because you will actually start relating to what I'm saying. And of course we'll start sharing a lot of tips and practical to-dos, how you can start working on these concepts gradually. So I guess this is about these 5 dimensions. Few of the questions that I could take. There's one last question that I will take right now. For the rest of the questions, please feel free to ask your questions and drop us. Maybe you can just ask us on Insta. You can message us on Instagram, or we will we'll keep posting some stories and posts where we'll be asking you for your queries. That's where we'll start building up a lot of knowledge base for you also, to help you get transformed. One last question that I would want to take is, somebody asked how to reverse premature gray hair. I am 23 and gray hair, so she started getting gray hair in teenage itself. So okay, so when you talk of gray hair, there are a lot of things coming together. For a youngster going through hair concerns, so the very first thing that, because see, when you are young, graying hair is a direct indication that you're not eating right, frankly. So if it would have been somebody in their 40s or 50s, the reason would have changed. I would have told them, if you have started to experience gray hair, the very first thing that you need to look into is how stressed you are. But for a 20-year-old, I would say stress is something that will come later, because your hormones are supporting you in your 20s and your teens. You're automatically a happy person in your teens and 20s. It is only when you live through life in next 20 years or 30 years, when you kind of get a hang of what life is all about, that's where you become more rigid kind of a person. But in your 20s and in your teens, you're more of a flexible kind of a person. So stress is something that will not of course that's not very good. It impacts everybody. But having gray hair just because of stress in 20s is one of the areas. What you actually also deeply need to look into is the kind of foods that you're consuming. Are you consuming a lot of processed or refined foods? Are you consuming a lot of toxicity from the products that we just discussed? Are you look into your skincare products, look into your shampoos. Are these paraben shampoos, or are these SLS or sulfate based shampoos, or skin products, or even from the foods perspective, are you consuming a lot of processed packaged foods? How is your digestive health? That's the key. In your 20s is where you want to experiment a lot with yourself. You just want to go out and have anything and everything. You want to have those sweets and colas and packaged stuff and whatever comes your way. You just want to have anything and everything that comes your way in your 20s. So are you that kind of a person? If yes, what is the amount of such foods that you're consuming? Apart from that, are you consuming any fruits and vegetables and all these natural foods? So you really have to self-reflect, kind of self-realize yourself. You have to start to know yourself. What am I doing wrong to myself? What is it in my entire spectrum that I'm not going wrong, that I'm doing wrong, and start catching hold of one thing at a time. It's going to start with the foods. So my tip for you for graying hair is going to be, start consuming a lot of green leafy vegetables, either in the form of juices and soups or smoothies or salads. We will gradually keep sharing a lot of recipes also with you all. We are working on that, but there is one recipe, clean beauty detox smoothie recipe, which is there on our website. You can search for it. Please look into it, because you can start making that recipe and start your day with that recipe. So that will go a long way in cleaning your body. So see, okay, so the bottom line about when you talk of either gray hair or acne or any kind of manifestation that your skin or body or hair is showing, it is nothing but toxicity coming out of your body in one way or the other. So which means the roots go back to cleaning yourself, starting with foods, starting to cutting down foods which are giving you toxicity, and starting to add foods which can really clean you. What are such foods? Green leafy vegetables. What are such foods? Fruits and vegetables. Starting your day with a smoothie, starting your day with a green juice. These are the ones which will cleanse you from inside. So, but this is a long way to go. It's not something like you start today and tomorrow or maybe in a month the gray hair will stop. But I can tell you, I have gone through that transformation. I started getting these gray hairs, and then I got high on the kind of foods that I'm talking about, and I'm seeing some reversal happening to me also. So it definitely works. Apart from that, get into some yogic practices, specifically headstands where your heart is below your head, something like something like a headstand, or something like a Paschimottanasana, or something like a mountain pose, because that's where your head is going down. That's where the circulation is reaching your head, and your hair, for its color, needs the blood. If you don't again understand this concept, please look out at the Bodywork workshop that we did, which talks of all these concepts in detail. So precisely, this is how it's coming together. And one tip I have to give you for gray hair that really worked well, which is coming from my education into ancient practices also. Start consuming a lot of moong dal sprouts. That's an ancient folk recipe for hair health. It helps arrest your hair fall. It helps with the graying of hair also. It helps at least you will see some changes at the level of hair loss. So that definitely works. And then stress, of course, start getting into some meditative practices. Make sure that you do something that makes you happy at least once a day. So gradually you will start shifting from stress mode to a happy mode, because these hormones ultimately take up everything, take up your skin health, take up your hair, take up your body, everything. So just go through the emotions workshop video also on Svarasya YouTube channel, so you will understand how it's so deeply connected. So yeah, I guess we are almost done with the session today. Thank you so much for attending. If you have any questions for us and anything about, so I've just explained you these 5 dimensions. Please feel free to ask us any questions out of any of these 5 dimensions that we've just talked about, because we are here to answer anything and everything that you ask us. Now we understand that everything comes together when it comes to beauty, and we'll try explaining you how your specific problem area ultimately may be giving you the kind of problems at your appearance level that you may be going through. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. We'll keep you informed of our next live. Thank you so much.